Hey everybody, Charlie and R2 here, and welcome back to Disco Elysium, the final cut. When we last left off, we were talking to Idiot Doomspiral here. We found his lost jacket. We tried to give it to him, but he doesn't seem to think it's his. That may have to do with his inability to find his keys and everything else he's lost in life. So let's continue the conversation. What's the story of your name again?
What's in a name?
He looks up to the sky as if pondering the question, then turns back to you.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
One of the other bums interjects. Gurgles the near comatose man.
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George, but around here, you already know. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual, a founder/junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm.
That's the same story you told me, right?
So you don't want to just hear the same story again? Okay.
Yeah, you got any more stories?
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift?
Yeah, give him the potent Pilsner.
Not much, but it will do.
He grabs the bottle from your hand and uncorks it immediately.
The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Coron.
He lifts the bottle to his lips and takes a long, luxuriant sip.
There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal.
The streets are warmed by a southerly breeze. The lights of a passing motor carriage bloom and fade in the distance. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes to you effortlessly, as though you'd walked the same streets yourself 1,000 times.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides.
He looks up to the sky as if he's searching for peace himself.
What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see?
A horse?
Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man...
The pause is long and dramatic.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
The legendary fawn cap. So we got the jacket. We have the fawn cap. I think we have the found gloves. I think the only thing we need are the found pants and shoes. The pants Kuno has and the shoes the vendor has on the street. I thought he rode a bull. Show him the figurine.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
The lieutenant says with a little smirk.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man.
That sounds pretty implausible to me.
If I hadn't lost my keys that one time, I'd agree with you. But life is a cruel mistress.
He takes a sip.
Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
The what?
What? You know it.
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula de Pont and Eva Delgado are fishing near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season.
Two women stand on a small outcropping of rocks. One of them is wearing a purple raincoat. Thin lines reach out from the rods into the sea. Small droplets start appearing on the surface with increasing frequency.
The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box. When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless Phasma rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered.
What did the case file say?
Naturally, Ula de Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless Phasma rider and that she ran, fearing for her life.
He adjusts his glasses.
During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story.
Was she arrested?
No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling.
Her face slowly peeling off the ceiling.
Not a pretty scene.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here's to another case closed.
He takes a hearty swig from his bottle.
Anyway, that's the story of the headless Phasma rider. Pretty crazy, huh?
Who was the headless rider before he died?
Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge. Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline.
Really?
Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
I got a hunch that it was the undercover cop. I'd want revenge too. I bet he was the jockey. He seems super committed to the sport. I've got to agree, your theory sounds the most plausible. None of those sound plausible, to be honest.
Like you could do better, Tequila.
Let's do better.
Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
I've already seen some weird stuff on this case. A headless jockey in a tracksuit fits right in.
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. That's why it's critical to stay well hydrated.
With alcohol? That's not well hydrated. That's nothing. I've got an even crazier story.
Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that.
The gnome of Jeroma dissolves its victims with acid.
Acid gnomes? Sounds like a stupid, low-concept band name.
Okay, whatever became of the headless Phasma rider?
No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight.
Is that something I can see if I hang out until midnight?
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
You got any more urban myths?
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself before I can tell that one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice.
Not right now.
If you find any, I'd be extremely grateful.
Okay, let's step aside for a second. I have something I want to talk about.
Okay, Kim. Let's step aside. Okay, my guys are going crazy trying to talk to Kim.
I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style.
My style? What about it?
It's, well, a little eclectic, don't you think? How would you even describe what you're wearing?
Random shit that I found on the side of the road.
Eclectic is for pop music with indigenous percussion. You're a sartorial maverick.
Hobo chic.
Well, I can't say it doesn't fit you. Still, you might try branching out a little. You know the expression, the clothes make the man. The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world.
Okay, you're a sharp-dressed man. We could be style buddies.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, detective.
A warm smile.
Anyway, we should probably get back to the case. Let's go.
Were you really just trying to tell me that I can change clothes to pass checks? Like, I already knew that.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and pit bottoms up, Captain.
All right, we bought beer. We need to pass 28 more minutes.
Sunset.
Third story.
Of course. Drink first, story later. Not much, but it will do.
All right, he grabs the bottle from our hand and uncorks it immediately.
This last one is the most Martinet story I've ever heard.
He takes an almost comically long swig. Thus fortified, he continues.
I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time, I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something.
Oh, is this the Phasma?
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds, near an abandoned construction yard. The young men look over their shoulders suspiciously. The
Cryptids?
sound of their digging seems loud in the sudden silence.
Magic animals? No, man, this is serious stuff.
Okay, what kind of expeditions?
All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people.
What do you mean, certain kinds of people?
You know, obsessive types. People with predilections.
What exactly are we talking about?
Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all.
Okay.
The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me.
Too high concept for you?
I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle.
Oh, lay it on me. I can handle it.
Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez.
Are you going to tell us about the, about Suna's whole story?
There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history,
Oh, no.
but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man. That is, if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all.
He takes a swig, wipes his mouth, and continues.
Anyway, sometime later, he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise.
Okay.
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand.
Yeah, nose candy. Something about cocaine.
You know Tequila, nose candy, the white railroad, party powder.
The kids on the streets also call it Snow Day.
Or Emelan gold. For the plateau on which most of the world's supply is grown and harvested, typically by slave labor.
Sinus salt, the White Knight.
He's still going.
Can't see, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Thanks, Kim.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also flake, powder, pearl. Really, anything that's white will work. He's talking about cocaine, baby.
Yeah, I know. Are you referring to cocaine?
Shit, yeah, Tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
He gives you a comradely bump on the shoulder as a couple of milliliters of booze slosh out of his bottle. So what happened to him?
You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Right.
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 Wrong. Do it all the time.
All the time?
All day, baby.
Hey, Tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance. An advert so minimal, it contained neither text nor images, just pure white.
So just a plain white image, which really isn't an image. Just basically a piece of blank canvas.
Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine."
Okay. What a loss for the world of design.
I know, Tequila. I know.
He takes a swig, considers pouring some out for this lost genius, then thinks better of it.
But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity.
Okay.
That's almost certainly anatomically impossible.
I agree.
Wrong again, nerd. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Get out of here, electrochemistry.
That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut-rate shit your grandma does.
My grandma?
There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
You think?
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull.
And why do they think the skull is here?
Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez.
His name was Martin Martinez.
That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there.
He points to the pipe.
Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum, no one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
What do these expeditions plan to do with it?
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum, the gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market, and the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
This is insane.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
It's already been snorted? Rosemary, you said something about the islets?
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. that it's underwater. Or no, maybe it was the storm sewers.
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient state pyramid offshore.
What have you learned from the other expeditions?
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend, with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
Honest men on an honest quest. You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast.
All right, let's look for it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a minute. Finding it right now is literally impossible.
What?
Why?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. You definitely have to search the area behind that lorry too, yet it is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the Cocaine Skull justice. You need new gear, people who know what they're doing, all kinds of provisions.
Why?
It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless a bunch of money just falls out of the sky, we might never know what's up with that skull.
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around chasing after quasi-mythical pieces of drug paraphernalia. Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
Dang, that's too bad.
Wait. Maybe there's another way. Maybe up around the coast? Don't give up now.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you. Who knows, though? Maybe someday we'll get our chance.
We need 2 minutes to pass.
Not that I can think of, currently.
Guess that makes sense. You've been drinking a
That
lot.
might be the case. Yes.
Be seeing you. All right, we need 2 minutes to pass.
Don't call. Don't call.
Drunk man speaks in his sleep. Drool dribbles from the left side of his mouth and down his jacket lapel. Hey, wake up!
There's no waking him from his stupor.
All right, we need 1 minute to pass.
The legend. He's back. And thirsty. Sure, friend.
Yeah, Rosie was there too.
I need 1 minute's worth of new dialogue. Oh, what's this? Door's closed. Time for the kids to sleep. Can you talk to me for a minute?
The old woman still sits in her chair.
Hey, we did it.
continuing With the buzz of electric lights blends together with the slow rumble of the ocean waves.
Don't bother her.
She keeps
All right, it's time. Let's put on. Let's put on this armor. And let's go. It is north of here, right? That we got to go find the pigs and get our gun back. Up this way, maybe? It's up at the boardwalk, right? Uh-oh. I left clicked. I didn't mean to left click. I don't even know what that does. Up here, right? Was it here? I thought it was here. Okay. Journal, help me out. Someone's been running around with your sidearm pretending to be a police officer. You must meet her near the old fish market at 22 and get your service weapon back. Just walk past the fishing village. That's quite literally what we did. Do we go up here? Oh. $2,200. It's $2,200. Where do I gotta go? I really thought that I was in the right place. Up here, maybe? It's 2,200. Not seeing anything over here. No, not here. Said the boardwalk. I also need to rule out the boardwalk as a firing location. Am I confused as to what the boardwalk is? Can I get up here? Can I get over here? Tab. Let's check south a little more. Maybe it's to the west of the fishing village? No. Fishing village is right over here. She's out here. Huh. I don't get it. We're supposed to go get our gun. I kind of want to wear a different jacket too, just in case. Suggestion in Half-Life. Drama and Authority. Suggestion. Hand-eye. That's a good one. And what about shoes? Perception. Boardwalk, where are you at? This is church. This has to be the boardwalk, right? Oh. What in the world? Was I just here too early?
Put your hands where I can see them.
Okay, what is this? Put your hands where I can see them. The aging woman under a mountain of police paraphernalia mumbles to herself the notices and reaches for the megaphone.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now! Show me your hands! Right now!
This is not what I expected.
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand. Her hand is trembling from some sort of neurodegenerative disease.
Okay, so she's got some mental issues.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
Raise your hands.
The man appears to be pulling out an object from his pocket. Fear under threat! Fear under threat! Superseding event. Split-second decision. Get on the ground! Get on the goddamn ground!
Ma'am, we just want to talk with you.
Subject yourself to a full body cavity search. Prohibited materials concealed in nostrils, ears, mouth, navel, urethra, foreskin, vagina, and rectum.
Okay.
In her mind, the cavity search is happening, as long as she's saying it. It appears the things she says are very real to her.
So what she says is what's happening.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything that might set her off.
Agreed.
The situation looks bad. Calm yourself. Steady your breathing. This is dangerous. You're 70% certain you always leave your gun loaded.
We can solve this peacefully. $58. Please identify yourself.
It's the goddamn police shitbag. Hug the pavement. You're under arrest.
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs?
Guess we'll have to wait till next episode to find out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.